And we are here not to cry tonight. We are here to have a brilliant show. And to get a real brilliant show, I need a brilliant audience. And I also need a special brilliant guest who's there Are you there on Skype already now, Kathie?
Yes, hi Mark, I'm here.
Hey, you're there. Wonderful. I tune it in a bit louder. Wait, Kathie. Yes, can you talk now again?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Wonderful. Okay. Very loud. How are you tonight, Kathie?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm buzzing. I'm fine. Thank
you. Are you? You're buzzing. That's great. So you are connected to your true self, I suppose.
Yes. Well, hopefully. I worked hard for this, but finally, I think I'm much more connected, and
That's
I found
good.
myself.
Wonderful. So first, I want our audience to introduce you. Your name is Kathie Schoeller, and you are like me from Germany, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from Germany.
Yes, so we both have our German accent. So this is a very special Sendung tonight.
Yes, it is.
Yes, isn't it?
To German in London.
To German in London.
German accent.
Yes, nice. German accent and speaking English. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, because it's great. Okay. We are still actually here on a British broadcast UK channel. So we're talking English tonight. Okay, Kathie. So what are you doing in your profession? Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, of course. I call myself an energy coach, which basically, I come from a medical background, so I have over 13 years experience in working physiotherapy and osteopathy, and I specialized in emotional release, like cranial osteopathy, but that doesn't matter. I was in a medical service and wanted to find out more and more and get deeper and deeper, and there was always more I could feel, but I wasn't really aware, and I didn't really know what that was. And
do you mean you could feel more about your patients, about your clients, than you could explain with the tools that you were operating on?
Yeah. So, the treatments. I was specialized in babies from the beginning, which is a very, very gentle and sensitive work anyways. And people with traumas and people with really severe pain. And I was working on a one-on-one base, like on the massage table or, doing exercises and trying to get people better on their physical level. Mm-hmm. And the osteopathy, the cranial osteopathy I was trained in later on, is basically taking the emotional level into the treatment as well, which helps a lot. But there was something missing, and finally I got my teachers. I've done Reiki, master teacher, and all the stuff in Germany, and then I got invited to the Philippines, and I've done my spiritual healer, and I've done psychic surgery over there, which is basically a surgery you are doing mentally and you're doing with energy, which made it more clear to me and made more sense. So from there on, since then, I'm basically including and forcing energies for the better, for helping people, as you said before, finding themselves, reconnecting to your spirit, because I always teach and tell my people and people who meet me first, you always need to know there are four levels. You have north, south, east, and west, and the same your body has your mind, your spirit, your body, and your mental level. And if you are imbalanced in one of them, and mostly we are imbalanced in our spirit because people are a bit scared of it.
How especially what you described that they're scared of their spirit?
Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, for me, it got a bit easier in London, and the more international you go, the more you work internationally, it's a bit easier because you attract the people who already are into this topic. But in Germany, it helped me to have a medical background. It helped me to have a bachelor, a master. It helped me to, have done all the education. So people are not that scared of spirituality itself, just the name and energy. And this is I have to connect to my emotions, and I have to, that's all witchcraft. And But the more you explain to people how scientifically proven things are, and the more you take them beyond and let them feel energy and let them feel how the feeling afterwards, after a session or after release or after charging the energy, they begin to understand. But I don't know why. I still try to find out, because I try to find my way to ease into the life of people, to not scare them, because the thing we do for a living is, in my opinion, the best thing out there in the universe. And everyone should know,
Okay, so I have an answer for that. My answer would be that people are only scared of things when they are in the survival modus. And whenever things trigger us into survival modus, then we go into panic or fear, and then we don't want to have to do anything with that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really good, because when I shared my story, and I come from anxiety and panic attacks and depression from the age 18. I was 18 when I was in this black mass hole. And I got myself out there, but only with the help of holistic treatments and Reiki and energy work, and that changed my life completely. But you're right. If you shut yourself off and you completely closed, and you don't have any access to spirit or to the universe or to any energies or to your heart, basically, then it's very difficult and you get very scared. Yeah.
And I get there very easy, you see, because survival modus is survival modus. When you're in survival modus, you can't open your heart. So instead of opening your heart while you are in the survival modus, I think it's very important to actually change your frequency to feel safe first. Safety, I feel safety is the first basic feeling that we have a need in, all of us on this planet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the best thing to start with, and what I learned the hard way, because I wasn't really given in, I wasn't really practicing it, but now is the essential practice, is the grounding. Grounding to the earth and walking barefoot and guided meditation where, you visualize your root system. And this sounds kind of funny first time, or when you practice, you feel a bit weird. But with practicing and visualization and connecting back to nature, and you feel in flight and survival mode.
Or the way I do it, for example, me myself, I'm becoming aware in a second. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. And this I am here in my body grounds me immediately.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Like a mantra, like a little affirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And I also believe that we all have certain kind of we have to change. We have to have a look at our brain. You see, our brain is most important, and the second we are capable to change the chemical in our brain, you see, then we can also release different kind of hormones in our physical body. And we all know that good feelings, they come from oxytocin. What is it in English? Oxytocin in German, or what?
Yeah, oxytocin. No? Yeah, something like this.
Yes.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely, yes. Or dopamine also is important.
Yeah,
and serotonin is important. And when we go to bed, melatonin is important, you see. And when all these chemicals are in balance, then we have a good chance to really understand who we truly are, because then the cover of this physical layer has gone. And when the cover of the physical layer has gone, I feel, then we really feel who we truly are in God, because in the end of the day, I think it's not only a saying that we are God.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when you compare, like working with a mindset, working with your brain, which is first a bit difficult because you need to be disciplined and you need to practice every day, and you need to stop yourself by thinking these thoughts and having these belief systems. But I like to compare it, like if you try to stop smoking, you're never going to get there. So the thing is, if you want to stop smoking, just stop putting a cigarette in your mouth. And if you have these thoughts and belief systems that get you a negative spiral and get you away from being connected to yourself and cutting this connection off and stuff like this, then you need to stop. And like the mantra you said before, you have your little tools and you have your little reminders to just kick you out of this state, and you're immediately back connected to yourself.
And it's very important that it's obvious. 10 seconds ago, I have been in the past. We all have been 10 seconds ago in the past. Maybe now 15 seconds, you see? But the past is the past, and the past has nothing to do with our now. That's the way I see it. And the now is most important to really be present.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the time, we repeat our past into our future.
Yeah, that's right.
And this also has nothing to do with our true self, isn't it?
Exactly, because basically all of us, without judgment and with respect and love, whatever happened in the past is gone, and we lived this. It's done. And if we cling to the past and like are glued to it and try to always rewrite the story, nothing will ever change the way you would like it to change, and then you are in this complaining mode. And then, it's like getting out of this negative spiral. Definitely you have to kick yourself out of the past and clearing your past, basically clearing your past and suppressed emotions and trauma, whatever has happened, and stay in the here now every single day, every single hour. And when you get kicked out of your mojo or of your center, then you have your tools to always come back in the now. And like you know the story, like you chop wood, and when you do the dishes and wash the dishes, you wash the dishes, and when you go for a walk, you go for a walk. And I always tell clients, when you go for a walk, then tell yourself left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. If you really struggle to connect to yourself and staying in the now, which is very difficult sometimes, but you can do it.
And to become aware while you are not in the now.
Yeah, what is kicking you out?
What is kicking you out? And that's what we talk about after our ads and the next song, okay? And it will be the connection to the ego, isn't it? Yeah, ego. Yeah, let's go there, Kathie. Let's go deeper. Wonderful. Thank you for being here tonight. And
thank you.
Yeah, so in a couple of minutes we're back again.
This is Chiltern Voice.
Emotional release and purification to get to your true self. This is our topic today. And I have Kathie Schoeller here. And Kathie,
Hi.
You're there. Hi. Yes. Okay, and so I thought we might now talk about the creation of the ego and how it covers our true self and where it comes from. What do you think there, Kathie?
Well, I think there is an ego. There's definitely an ego, and I like to call the ego is like the force, or kind of a negative force, keeping you down, holding you down, and trying to keep you in your comfort zone. And isn't it better for all of us to get out of the comfort zone? Because when you stay in your comfort zone, when you stay in your tiny little safe house and spot, or your life, life can be boring, and you're kind of hiding, and you're kind of closing yourself from happiness and abundance and relationships and like your true self. So the ego, I see myself, or first when I worked with the ego, I was kind of trapped, like in a cage or in a house, and first you feel comfortable and you feel safe, but then when you figure out that this is something not really supporting you, is something holding you back from being your true self, then you start to realize and to feel the ego, and then you start to, getting away from the ego and not listening to the ego anymore.
And how would you describe the ego in your, or I can tell my description now, for example, okay, instead of asking you, okay, I think it has all to do with the victim issue, with victim, to be the victim, and as a victim, you are putting yourself down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the ego is a huge part of, the ego likes the victim role. So when a person is in that victim role, and if you are in fear and darkness and you're anxious and you're scared, then the ego's like, yeah, right, that's right. Stay in this position. We're safe. Don't go out there. Don't try new stuff. Don't open your heart. Don't go in the relationship. And we start complaining and we start nagging. And the ego is kind of a voice in your head. The ego is kind of a negative energy. But on the other part, why is the ego there? There's definitely something the ego is good for, which is a tiny, small part, just preventing us from doing risky and making decisions, logical decisions, and scaring us in a situation where you need to be scared so you don't make a mistake. But I mean, that's maybe 15-20% maximum, and the rest, the ego is just holding us back from being our true self. So yeah, was that the question? What do you think?
That's good. So it's a ping pong, you and I ping pong. Okay, this was your description. Now it's my description. I see the ego as a scaffolding around our true self, created, for example, in our childhood, in early age, for to survive. It's a survival mechanism for not to die. And we have created a certain scaffolding around our true self because we were not strong enough as children to really stand up for ourselves and to be one in the world. And therefore, we have to build up our structure. And the structure is a negative ego. Now we call it negative, you see. But as a child, it was very important to survive, for not to drown. And therefore, I think it's very important not to judge it. Because if you judge it, then you can't really get over it, or you can't integrate it, you see. In saying thank you, for example, for having defended me, for having helped me to survive, for me being here in this place now, for example, now, tonight here on Chilton Voice with you, you see. We also had a certain kind of survival mechanism, otherwise the world would have put us down. But now, as a grown-up, it doesn't work for us anymore, it works against us. And this survival mode, that most of the people, and even us, you see, we also are in there sometimes, and we have issues, you see, now, and they're coming up from our subconscious, and the negative, or the victim ego is in our subconscious, because when we are traumatized, our subconscious is stored in the physical body. And, nowadays we know that 96% of our awareness is the subconscious, and we're only capable to access 4% of awareness. Yeah. Therefore, I think it's very important to look at the subconscious in a way where we really we say thank you, and we want to experience more about our subconscious, to bring it up, to become more aware, and to treat our body very, very well. It doesn't mean that we all have to be slim and whatever, but it's only about don't judge yourself the way you are. This also comes from the negative ego. And in not doing this anymore, or becoming aware of, oh, now I'm doing it, then we have a chance to do something with it, instead working against it.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, when you accept the, let's say, ego, this part of you, which is basically is very important and helped you for a long time, like you said, in your childhood, to develop your personality, to develop yourself in a safe and sacred space. But as an adult, when you make peace and be a friend with your ego, so you can take advice whenever needed, but you have the ability to not listen or shut it down, and make it quiet and silent when you want to get out of your comfort zone and want to connect to yourself. But most of the people, I think the voice of the ego is louder than the voice of your higher self or your spirit or your true essence. And then it's difficult because no one is really telling us, and no one, like now we have a better standing because the two of us, we worked our way through this, and the education and the people you work with, and the strength you gain and develop through the spiritual process. But so many people out there are still listening, and they're in their rational mind, and they're doing jobs where they need the ego every single day, or they think they need it.
Okay, so can I say something? I think this is wrong. Nobody needs the negative ego that we talk about, but the positive ego, that's what you mean maybe, or?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's the same what I think. Because we need ego. Otherwise, without ego, I think I couldn't do a radio show like this, you see? So I need a positive ego in relation to my true self, which is giving me the opportunity to radiate myself out there to the world, broadcasting this show, for example, with you, Kathie. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So it's important for me to I'm very much aware that we only want to get not rid, okay, not rid. No, sorry, this was wrong. This was my mistake. To say thank you and to integrate the negative ego. It has helped us in the past. It does not serve us today anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And helping us, or these aspects of the ego, the positive ego we are using right now, you make decisions and to actually put your feet on the floor and develop a business and earn your money and do all this rational decisions. And like you said, you are doing this radio show and you're doing your job and I do my job. And if we still need to keep the ego, but make peace with it and use it in a positive way.
Yes. And I think after the next song, we want to talk maybe about the true self, what it's all about, what you think about the true self, Kathie,
Okay.
what I think about the true self. Would you agree? Yeah? So I do now a little bit of music, and then I'm back with you, Kathie. Stay there.
Okay. See you later.
See you later. And here it's Paul van Dyk, Let Go, because we all have to let go all the time. And I think it's a very good opportunity for us to tune into our high self and the true self. Yeah, and now we want to talk about the true self. Kathie, you're there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Wonderful. So what would you like to begin to talk about the true self? What do you think it is? Where do we come from? What is our sense of life in being in our true self? What is the meaning of the whole thing? What do you think?
So I would describe the higher self, my own higher self, is the true sense, the energy of myself carried for many lifetimes. And the higher self has information about my life's purpose and why I'm here, and is carrying lots of wisdom and information. And when the time is right, and when I open myself to it and connect to my higher self and have a good relationship, then I have access to these details. And my higher self has the big picture, like my plan of this life, and has a bit of a glimpse for the future, knows my past, and not only the past of this lifetime, but my past lives. And all this information gathered together in a very loving, compassionate way. If you have access to your higher self, which is basically, if you remove the layers of fear and negative ego and anxiety and all the negative emotions and trauma you have experienced, then the connection is getting easier. But higher self, I would describe, there's a good example. My business, or I work in the name of Canada, and Canada is my soul name. So one of my German colleagues, she was channeling, and she has she's psychic gifts, and her psychic gifts, and she was connecting to my soul and channeling the name and where I come from. And this sounds a bit witchcraft now, and this sounds a bit crazy, but if you're doing this job for a living and you're really connected to all the energies and the universe out there, and at some point you really want to know where you come from and what your essential name is, the raw version of yourself, the energy you were born with. And I've not always been in this body, like blonde hair, born in Germany, 1982, these parents. So I have past lives, and I may have future lives. And so for me, the higher self is storing all of this. But sometimes it is a bit hidden and a bit asleep, or let's say the connection is not quite clear with the higher self, because we have build up some layers of anxiety and fear and trauma. So, I mean, sometimes the life's purpose is just to get in contact with your higher self, and the earlier, the better, so your higher self can guide you in your best interest through life.
Okay, that's interesting. So I I come on now with mine. Okay, first of all, I don't talk that much about the higher self. I rather like to talk about the true self. The true self to me is us feeling in love with our in our physical body. I always say God lives in me then. The God is love and love is in me. So the true self is reconnected with me and my physical body. Now, there's a chance that my true self is tangible to me. I feel this in me. And the higher self, to me, has to do with the higher chakras. For example, the 8 chakras, the 9 chakra, and higher chakras above, where all our information from past life is stored, the way you said so. And I think it's important to first of all come in contact with the true self, and then you can have a less projection-free look at your past lives and at your soul and where you have been and where you come from and whatever. This is very important to me.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So I think the higher self and the true self, or if there's a difference, if you want to different it, the higher self, which is helping me if I'm connected, or if you work with the chakras and you go all the way up where the higher self is placed and you connect to it, it helped me a lot to find my true self and vice versa. So that's my own experience, and my true self, who I truly am, I'm still discovering, but I think I discovered a lot till now, finally. Mm-hmm. So like you said, how to feel comfortable in your body, and you make peace with your body, your physical level, and your mindset, and the ego, and your true self. Yeah, when you radiate in love and like the universal energies and the love, the unconditional love you are buzzing with and you are spreading in the world,
yes.
The more you're spreading and the more open your heart is, whatever life is throwing at you, and
yes.
How the highest form you can radiate, the more unconditional love you can give, the more you're your true self. That's right. So there is a difference.
And I think it's really important I think it's very important that the higher self enters down here into our physical body, because here it's needed.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we have to do everything to allow this to happen. And everything that is in between and work against it should be released. We talk about this emotional release today, you see. And I think it's very important for the purification to get this release on board. And I think maybe we can also talk about what has to be released. What is it what we want to release on an emotional level? And I think, first I would say all the rubbish from the negative ego.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All the crap.
Yeah.
The ego is telling you, is making you feel, is trying to negotiate you through life in a way that you don't deserve and you don't want to do, basically, if you want to live your true self. If you want to be that true self, which is an intrinsic need or a craving we all have. It's just when you give in to that craving and you explore a bit yourself, and once you are on this path and journey, you can't stop, which is good, because once it's rolling, and you will find your way back to your true self by releasing the ego, like you said. And I'm a huge fan because I can see the results by releasing the crap and unpacking the luggage with suppressed emotions and stored trauma from your birth, from labor, there's so many situations in life we have forgotten about, but our subconsciously and our physical body, like our cells, our cellular level, they store everything.
Yes.
And when I work and release trauma, like car accidents, and people even didn't know they have been in a car accident, but we found out in the session, and I picked it up, and the client I was working with asked the parents, I was like, yeah, you were 3.5 and we had a big crash. So you release this trauma and rewrite the story, so your body on a cellular level is clean and fresh, is a fresh sheet, and you never remember this accident again. So there's no reason for your body to get in this fight and flight mode and kick you out of your middle.
Okay, but I think it's very important to really go back to the basic trust in you. You see, without basic trust, you can't release it. And basic trust is connected to the true self.
Yeah, I mean, before you can actually do an emotional release or release anything holding you back, to connect to yourself, you have to trust yourself first, and you have to trust the person you're working with, basically, because most people like to trust someone else before they even trust themselves. So if you hold the space for another person, for your client, and
it can create a certain kind of codependence.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I'm not talking about codependence. I'm just trying to explain how I would describe this. Well, how would you how do you work? How do you create this trust? And when you work with babies,
I can answer that. It's very easy. I first have to do it in myself, and then I radiate this basic trust to the client. Nothing but this. So I don't have to hold anything for them or whatever. I don't only do it for me, myself. So when I do it for me, myself, in me, my physical body, then it's radiating to the client, maybe not even to a client, also when I go to a bakery or whatever in the morning. So it's all, you can do this wherever you are in life. And then you have to understand, if the other one who's in front of you doesn't get it, it means that you didn't get it yourself.
Yeah, when I put my hand on the so I basically work hands-on, because what I channel through my hand, or what you said, you radiate this trust and connection. Like, you radiate this because you produce it in your own system. That's a good explanation. I haven't explained that before this way. I just put my hand on the client, and immediately there's this peaceful situation, or there's this, well, you know how it feels like when you're ready to let go, or when you feel you can breathe deeper and you can release something. But I have experienced that for the clients or whoever is in the room with you, or even a friend you're talking to, it takes the time to actually feel what you're trying to channeling, or what you're giving that person in this moment, to trust in the situation, to trust in this feeling. And this could be sitting and having a coffee, but while the people are calming down and the voice gets calmer and they're breathing deeper and they really relax, I feel, or I see that that's a good job, because like you said, you're radiating this to the other person, and you're giving them space, and you're giving them...
No, I don't give them anything. You see, well, I'm only doing this in me, myself. And in giving this to me, it arrives in the other one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not giving practically anything, but the energy, the buzzing is in the room, like in between two people. In between, there's nothing you can grab or you can see or explain. It's just the energy in the room.
Yes, and this energy comes through me, my physical body.
Yeah, or through your hands, or through whatever, your aura. Exactly.
Yeah, good. So your physical body, you are touching your clients. I don't, by the way, only when I come to see them. Hi, or bye. No? But you are touching your clients. This physical touch Why is it so important in your work?
Well, not always. It depends. In the coaching session, it's just talking, sitting in front of each other, so I don't touch. There's no need to touch anything. But if I do psychic surgery, or if I clear the chakras and clean, and because I think I'm coming from this osteopathic treatment and I'm used to hands-on, I still just like to work, but it's not like the people are naked like a massage or something on the table. They are completely dressed, or sometimes they sit in a chair.
What is a psychosurgery? What is this? Is this what you learned on the Philippines?
Yeah, so the Philippine healers, they are trained, or they are gifts, or you can train these gifts, is that you do a surgery without a doctor's, with all the equipment. They do a surgery where on the Philippines you are allowed by law to penetrate the body, and you can release cancer or blockages or anything the body store, or anything blocking your system, your energy field. You release it through your physical body. And the Philippines are just, we learn to put your hand or your finger, and you channel, like you do in a spiritual healing, you channel the energy from the universe, you force the energy and put it in the other person's energy field, and you help the body to release blockages on a karmic or spiritual level by releasing through body, through blood or water or sweat. And it looks a bit scary first time you see it, so I don't use the blood or sweat technique. What I do is I just work by closing my eyes and visualization and connect to the other person's body and cellular level.
So you don't cut them off?
No.
Okay, good, very good. Otherwise I would be so angry.
No blood, nothing.
Awful.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's just happening in my mind, and I do movements with my hand, and I connect and I touch you. But you will feel a sensation of goosebumps and tinglish and hot or cold. And I just pull out all the crap of your body, but there's nothing the person ever can touch or see or is bleeding.
Okay. Because what I've seen, I think it was Spiegel TV in Germany. Also, they had a Sendung, a show about it, and it came out that there was no real surgery. It was all fake, but in having faked that, this already had an effect on the clients.
Like placebo.
Yeah, placebo. Yeah, but placebo is okay. I like placebo because placebo is also getting yourself up in the morning and having a good attitude, or becoming aware. Placebo is not that bad, I think. But nevertheless, I think it's important to really explain this to people the way it really is. Because what I found out is there is no real surgery, but they pretend as if they do, and therefore the client gets into the placebo to feel better already, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well, the surgery I'm doing, or the way I connect, is to the client's body or system, is a bit more complex. Like when you have the problem, you have the cancer, or you have the lower back pain, or you have the sciatic, or you have whatever problem or issue the client is coming with. You have your body, which is in pain or is in that state where you have this issue or this disease manifested in your physical body. And then I take the blueprint, which is exactly the same cellular level from the body. It's like in a Marvel movie, you take that blueprint right beside the disease, or let's say the troubled body, and then I recreate a healthy cellular level, and with the help of my fingers and the energy I'm forcing, and I'm recreating a healthy tissue or bone or brain or, lymphatic system, whatever, anatomically, whatever is wrong. But you have the impact on the spiritual level as well, because you are able with these surgeries to remove blocks which you can't see with your physical eyes. You have to be psychic gifted, you have to have a clairvoyance, or you have to see things beyond your physical eyes to be able to pull it out. And if you have this gift, or you're born with it, or you want to learn it, you have the ability to go with these healers and go with these teachers. And the Philippines, I don't know, they just found me. I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for help for myself, for my body. And I get to know the teacher. They invited me, and then the story moved on.
Okay, so I think after the news we have to talk more about this, because it sounds really spooky, great, brilliant, and also edgy, but I like it. Okay, let's do that, okay? Because I would really love to understand how you got in contact with that and what you are actually really doing out of it, you see, because it obviously it has helped you, hasn't it?
It has.
It has. Yeah, wonderful. So stay there, and after the news we are back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chiltern Voice, your brand new community station.
Chiltern Voice, your brand new community station.
And here we are again, when love takes over. David Guetta, Marc, and Kathie. Here we are. Kathie, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. Yeah, and we just talked about this kind of spiritual surgery technique. Can we say it's spiritual surgery technique, or how would you describe it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't cut people out, because I also already had some emails here, and people are afraid. Oh God, no. So it's you are not open. You are not opening a physical body.
No.
Yeah.
And
good.
it's not allowed in Germany or anywhere else anyway, beside on the Philippines, when you do and you learn from the teachers. And it scared me a lot. So
But have you really seen that they have opened a physical body?
Yes. Yeah, they do this over there, and I've seen it, and I've seen the blood. And but I knew that there's a reason I'm there, and I take everything for me, like all the good stuff, I take it in and develop the stuff for my own techniques. So I would never ever have done this, even though it would be lawfully like allowed in Europe or anywhere else. But everyone else like out there who's listening right now, you don't have to be scared. It's just a technique they are using, and for them it's natural, and it's just a technique to release trauma and release blockages and release the crap like we were talking about before. It's just that these healers help people to get healthy and find and connect to their true self in a very, very...
Yes. And you yourself have experienced this while you were a client there, or you were a patient, or what is your experience?
Yeah,
there?
When you go over there and you do these 4 weeks training, like all the Philippine healers have to go through, you do the same. You have to get your own surgeries by the teacher or by the healers before you get your initiation, and before you are a part of these association, and before you are allowed to work as a spiritual healer.
So what have you had as a disease that you wanted to have cured there? Or?
So, well, one of my friends, she told me that this Philippine healer is going to be in Cologne, where I'm from originally, and you should see him, because I was suffering with severe pain in my belly, especially around my period. And later on they diagnosed endometriosis, which is, for everyone who doesn't know, when you have your period as a woman and all the tissues from the womb, they spread in your body and create a lot of pain, create a lot of inflammation, and it's not really fun. So, and I didn't know that at this point, but I went to see the Philippine healer, and he invited me after the sessions I've had with him, like as a client. He invited me to come to a workshop, and I booked a ticket and I went to the workshop, And on this workshop, he gives you a glimpse of what the teacher training and what the spiritual healer training looks like. But you have to come to the Philippines and see the other teachers and be on these energy places and work with the other healers and have to go through the same states the others go through on the island, which is not fun. It's not a yoga retreat, or it's not like an education or a teacher program where you're on the beach and, you're working hard. You do at 5 a.m., you do your meditation, and you do a lot of work to prepare your physical body to become a healer. So you clear and clean all the crap and stuff you're carrying with you to be the most lightful and brightful and clean channel you can be. And if you're not, this healing procedure is not happening. So you can't cheat.
How do you do that then?
So you have a lot of meditation to do to find your true self and connect to your chakras and your higher self and all this. You have to listen and go through lectures and workshops. They're training and teaching you what the energies and spiritual and chakras and what it's all about, their perspective and their point of view. And then you travel a lot through the island. You travel to lots of different energy places where you soak in the energies and you adjust to the energy field and soak the energies in, so your aura and your chakras and your physical body basically is in the same frequency, which if you haven't experienced this before, you get really tired of, and your physical body is creating lots of restrictions and lots of
resistance maybe too, yeah?
Resistance, and you have to work your way through resistance. And like when you come up with a cold or a stomach bug or something, your immune system is working really hard, to protect you and to get you healthy again. And this on an energetic level or on a soul level, your body is not really knowing what's going on and is pushed in a cold water, and you have to get in a good relationship with and have to explain your body and get in a good relationship with yourself to get through this. So to get rid of the restrictions and work your way through your own fears and blockages and the negative ego we were talking about, you just basically have to let go fully to get in this frequency and get out of this 4 weeks alive. No, I'm kidding.
And then after the 4 weeks, you can have your surgery, or?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you have to have some basic gift, or you have to have the availability to use your third eye, your visualization, and to use your spiritual energies to force the energy into the other person's body and pull the blockage out. And if you're ready to do this, and after the 4 weeks you can do it. If you're up for it and this is your life's purpose, let's put it that way, because lots of people have gifts, but if you train your gift and develop it in that point, you could do it. But I've never done it afterwards. I've never done it myself. When I came back after this trip to Germany, I was working a lot with the energies. I was buzzing, and since then I trained myself and developed my own techniques. I've never done psychic surgery in this like we've done before, like we were trained on the Philippines. I do it my way, in a very gentle, in a very sacred, and in a very comfortable atmosphere. So there's no blood, and there's no opening the body, no cutting the skin. There's nothing. I just use my hands, put my hands on your body, and wherever the pain is, put my hand on and I pull it out.
That's great to hear.
And sorry to interrupt you, but to make it more, I can do it, overcome time and space. So what I do with my German clients and clients international, I work from home and I do distant healing, which I learned on the Philippines, which was the greatest gift, which was the greatest thing for me to learn there, to overcome time and space. So basically I can lock myself in, and that sounds we have to be careful what I say. So I sit here and I know you, I know your body, I know you as a client, and I can work with you on a distance just to send the energies. And like you said before, how you make another person comfortable, or how you make another person feel grounded and safe, because you radiate this trust and you have this you create this in your own body, and you're just radiating it, so you make the other person comfortable. And I'm just using my hands to do this. I just put my hands on, and on a distant healing I connect my energy to your energy, but you never get anything of my energy because you don't want my energy. You want the healing energy from the universe, and that's what I'm channeling.
Okay. Now, for someone who is very rational, and very much in the head, no? I think they would think this is complete nonsense what we are talking about here. Okay, so how would you tell a person who is rational, maybe an engineer, how could you explain what you're doing there?
Yeah, that's good. Lots of my clients come from finance or are very rational people, and it's quantum physics to overcome time and space. And, like Albert Einstein said, everything is energy, no matter what, and it just depends how dense or in what
kind of matter or frequency.
Matter, the frequency it is. Exactly, thank you. So, there's the moon. Just get to something else. You get to the moon, and the moon is controlling the tides, and we have different tides. And the energy out there in the universe and gravity we have and all this stuff, there is scientifically proven that you can overcome time and space with your psychic gifts you have or symbols you can use. And if you want to overcome time and space and send the energy to whatever place you want to, whatever person you want to, basically I just show them and send the energy and let them feel that it's possible. And if they do some research, they come back to me and like, oh my God, so many people. This is like, in your world, like in our world, they say, this is so normal and natural, and like you can really help and heal people in Africa or somewhere else. Like, yeah, you just unlock the potential and you just overcome time and space. I mean, for us, it's normal.
But do you always know what kind of feeling people have a need in?
Yes, because when I lock in the cellular level and their energy field, it's like a map. I'm reading it like a map, and I can exactly see. So when I get in contact with a person who wants a distant healing and hasn't seen me before, and we Skype and have assessment before, and I'm like, oh my God, you have lower back pain and your right kidney. And he was like, yeah. How do you know that? Yeah, because I tune in and I can feel exactly the same thing on my body because I project it on my body. And this is quantum physics. This is something you give your body, or you use your own body. I use my body, my energy field, to just tune in with the person I'm working with to help him the best I can. And afterwards, I just clean and clear the field so I'm back to myself. If that makes more sense. Not really, but...
Yeah, why not? No? So it's clear feeling in the end of the day, yeah?
Say again, please.
It's clear feeling, so you feel in your body what
yes.
the other one has, yeah.
And the clear feeling is much stronger. Is much stronger than the seeing, so the clairvoyant. So I use both of them to just double check and be 100% sure. And I always double check with a client, of course, or with my patient. Yeah.
And do you bring them back to their higher or true self?
Yes. Even though we were talking about rational people from finance, and they help people now to be their best true self, or they help elder people to cross the street, or they have this sparkle in their eyes, or they start yoga all of a sudden, they change the diet, or they go for walks, they're friendly, they're more open, you can feel they're opening their heart and they're more their true self, because there are a lot of changes in their daily life, and there are lots of changes in how they speak and how they behave. So that's, for me, really important to see that they really are on the right journey and they really change and shift.
And these people who come to see you, are these people already do they have experience with these kind of techniques, or it's the first time for them to book someone like you?
Both. I've both, and I like both. It's challenging because the more advanced, you can go deep, and you can use all your skills, and I use all my skills with the beginners as well, but I explain a bit more, and I need to be I'm very careful and very gentle, and I go with the pace the client gives me, and I always explain what I'm doing and let them feel. And sometimes if you release an emotion or a trauma, it is what it is. So there's nothing, it's not, well, you can do it with a beginner and advanced, it doesn't matter. But I have all kinds of clients, and I kind of like this, to work with people who are brand new, and they really need tools, they really need explanation, they need to feel a bit more, they need to have a bit more explanation. And the others, they know a lot of stuff and they have experience a lot of spiritual healing or self-development, self-discovery, and whatever you want to name it. And I think they just need a guiding hand, or just a beacon, a light, where you help them light the dark or the tunnel they have to go through.
Yeah.
So I have both. Yeah,
interesting. And after the ads, we have more. Stay there.
Chiltern Voice, your brand new community station.
Chiltern Voice, your brand new community station.
Online and on your mobile. This is Chiltern Voice.
Here we are again. This is the Marc Altmann Show. Tonight here on Chiltern Voice, my guest is Kathie Schoeller, and I'm Marc Altmann. And we already have had 1.5 hours of discussion about the ego, about the true self, about surgeries, spiritual surgeries, and loads of other stuff. And now I want to actually ask you, Kathie, you're there, yeah?
Yes, I am.
You yourself, you went through panic attacks, you said, for example, in the past. What do you think it was then for you? Or what have you learned from this, you yourself, and you can teach to other people, maybe?
So when I first started having anxiety, and then it turned out to panic attacks, and I was basically in a spot where I couldn't leave the house, I couldn't drive a car, get in a bus or somewhere. In my situation, I found, like, my doctors, they try to, assess, like, they have tried everything and try to examine my body and find something, and the end result was like, you have to find yourself a psychologist, something is wrong with you, but not on a physical level. And they wanted me to take antidepressant, like the medication, and I tried it for one day, wasn't for me. And then I was on my journey to heal myself without help of my parents, without help of my friends. I was myself, because I was just by myself, finding the right healer. So I found a holistic naturopath working with homeopathy and kinesiology and all this stuff. So very holistic. And he was doing Reiki first time, like some energy work with me, and that was the only thing helping me. And he told me to lie down on the bed and just set the intention, even though I'm not sure what he's doing or what I'm in right now, the intention, and ask my body and release negativity and release what needs to be released. And he was not touching me at any point, but he was stroking like with his hands and pulling away stuff, and I had my eyes closed. I couldn't see what he was doing, but I felt so much better. And then my yoga teacher at that point, she invited me to a session where I could take an aura picture. I still have my aura pictures, and my aura was just dark and dark colors. And to cut the story short, these people taking the aura pictures, they told me that I have to open myself up for the universe, and I have to let the light in. And there's so much darkness because of trauma and my childhood, and things happen to me. I have to release the past and open myself up for the energies. And I was like, what? I mean, I'm doing yoga and I see this practitioner and I see a naturopath, but what do you mean? And I was just trained in meditation. All the skills, all the tools I'm teaching now, I was trained by my yoga teacher, by these people taking the aura picture. He gave me like homework to do, and I was seeing him every couple months. So I have 3 pictures, and the last picture is full of colors and full of light. And he told me that in that short amount of time, and I wasn't really aware of what I'm doing, but I did the right stuff, and I just had a lot of help from the universe. I just once I open up, and I had this moment of, I'm connected, I know who I am, I'm connected to my true self and the higher self and all the stuff we were talking about before. The energy just flooded in, and yeah, the colors changed, my life changed, the panic, the anxiety went away. And I was on this journey, and I was like devoted to help other people. So I became a physiotherapist at this point.
And can you say that the difference from before to then being in the state of healing, was this maybe a lack of love?
It was a lack of love, self-love, and my heart has just shut down because of some experiences I had to learn. You know, I'm a child of divorce, and my dad left, and there were so many things. I had a birth trauma, like I had the cord around my neck, and because of all these trauma and because of all this lack of love, of this loving energy in my life, I shut myself off, and I think my heart was too close at this point, so there wasn't anything available. But you're right, this is definitely a lack of love and this high frequency light,
and maybe the inability to keep the love within.
I was too afraid of love. I was too afraid to feel this, and too afraid to even connect to love or whatever that was at this point. But then I learned the love inside, and not by, there were so many people loving me, and I had a relationship, and I have lots of brothers and a loving mom, but something just shut me off, and I wasn't even aware how much you can love and feel love inside yourself, not becoming from other people and not depending on other people. But I learned how to love myself and open my heart for myself, and I was craving for life at this point, and that was the best sign, I think.
And have you also taken on board fears from your mother, from your family, or other people? Maybe that's what I get there. That you try to help them in taking it over.
I had to clear a lot of fear from my mom's side, from my dad's side. I had to clear a lot of fear I took over from my parents and from my siblings, and that was true. I had to clear.
And therefore you have this ability to be a healer and to feel other people, and to use your body as this tool, the way you expressed it some minutes ago, that you feel what the other person actually has within in you yourself.
Exactly, because while I was a child or teenager in this anxiety, panic attack state, it was a pain for me to have these feelings and just to soak like a sponge. I soaked all the negativity, all the fear, everything from family, from the people I love, because I didn't want them to feel it. So I took it all in. But then it was too much and I just broke down and I couldn't handle it by myself and no one else could help me. So the people around me, this therapist and the healer, and they helped me and just pulled everything out. And now that I'm aware of this, I could develop the skill and even get more sensitive. So being in a crowded place or going with me to a football game or something out there in a concert is not happening, because I can feel every single emotion from the people around me. So you will not see me much, like often in a pub or in a public crowded place. Because
and can you imagine that this one day will change?
Well, I tried, and if I like to, I can do it, because I can protect myself and protect myself from other people's energies. But I'm not really into it. I changed the things I like. So,
maybe I can help you with that a bit if you want.
To go in crowded places?
Yeah, I have a very simple explanation for that. Very simple. When you are one with God and you allow God to enter your physical body and you're in a state of love, okay? Nothing can come in. Nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't have to protect yourself. You only have to allow God fully to enter. That's all.
Yeah.
But there's a part of you, I feel, that has not allowed this 100% fully yet. Maybe
we need to explore this a bit deeper.
Yeah, because in the end of the day, it's so simple, you see. It's really simple. Whenever there's nothing in between you and God anymore, then you can go anywhere in the world, also into dark places, and to bring some light in there.
Well, yeah, I do this. I do this. It's just, when I travel or I sit in a plane or stuff like this, I get in this state. My boyfriend used to say, "You going to Pluto," because you're just in a different state of mind, you're just not there. But I don't like to go to these places. And, when I go on holiday or want to go somewhere, I really like the place or really want to go, I can go and I can sit in a plane for 20 hours and it doesn't bother me. So there's no fear or anxiety coming through, but I just don't like crowded places anymore. But maybe you're right. Maybe I need to get a bit more light in my body as well. Or
I think you only have to imagine Jesus Christ. Would he have been offended by people who are negative? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, or Buddha, for example. You see a Buddha sitting down there on the tree, under the tree, has a massive love and enlightenment, you see, and the world outside is the world outside. And I think it's very important that we understand that we don't have to change anything out there, but to have the perspective of God onto this world, onto the people, that we see the pain that people are in, but we don't have to take it personal, and we allow God's love to flow to them.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
I also want this in return from others when they see the pain in me. It's not about that, oh, poor Marc, or whatever. No. With an open heart, with the love of God radiating out, and to energize and to re-energize and to build. And when I give you this energy, Kate, and you give this energy back in return, we build up something bigger, the two of us.
Yeah.
And I think everyone can do it. Do you remember this Celestine prophecies? Have you seen the Celestine prophecies, this movie?
I don't think so.
There it is said that in the end of the day, it's a struggle of energy in this world. It's a struggle of energy. And we all want energy because we are not in contact with our own very source. And our own very source is us in God. And the second, when we are one with this source, then we don't want to steal energy anymore from other people, or we don't want to diminish ourselves anymore to get energy from other people or attention from other people, which also is energy. Then we are one with ourselves. And in being so much in contact with this oneness, we can be one in the diversity. And then we can be one with our true self. You see, and this is powerful. This is strength, and this is this is grace too. And this is also the feeling of how blessed we are, you see. And this empowers us and it also energizes other people. But it's not about us to hide or to hibernate from the world, to sit on the sofa, like maybe some of our listeners also tonight, you see, who are listening to the show, which is great, but it is time for you to stand up and to focus, to face life again. It's time for you, our listener, and also for us, you see, to be brave enough to confront mirrors in the world and to say hi to our neighbor. How are you? Haven't seen you in ages. You know, all these things. And imagine I have been to Mallorca today. In the morning, I woke up in the hotel. Then I packed my suitcase. I went down for a breakfast and I've met lots of people. I went to the airport. The airport was crowded in Mallorca today. Then I was flying here with a full plane to Luton. And then I went to see my friend Susie, you see, and then I recovered a bit and then I'm here. But nevertheless, it is all possible when we have this allowance. We have to give ourselves the permission to allow God fully to enter, because God is love. And it's not a saying that religion is saying because they say so out of nothing. No, it's this truth. All kind of religions say Allah is love. Even higher love than a human being can experience. And when we get in contact with this glimpse of God within ourselves, then we can be anywhere in the world. We can sit here in the studio. We can talk on the phone. We can make a TV show. We can do anything. And that's what I mean. We don't have to protect ourselves anymore when we are one with God. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's true. And you need to shine bright out there. You need to, and if someone, or if you are in a situation where you have to dim your light, or
never. You never have to dim your light. Never.
Yeah,
Why should you?
Yeah. That's true. So shine bright and do whatever lights you up, and shine brighter and brighter.
You're a diamond and you have to shine. And most people, they get jealous because you shine so bright, Katie.
Yeah, well, and they will leave, but that's okay.
Maybe they don't want to leave in the first place, but maybe they want to steal your energy because you're so bright and so great. But they can touch it, but they get burned because they also have to do their homework. Otherwise, you can't make a deal with God. You can't. No one can make a deal with God. No one. And so can't they.
No, that's true. And I think everyone, have a problem with, not a problem, but the explanation God or Allah or whatever. Like you said, it's not religious. It's just the explanation of, because for us, God, this universal energy or this high frequency love, this unconditional love, and once you felt it or once you feel it, you get kind of addicted. It's like a good addiction to this. And if you relate it to God or universal energies or whatever you want to call it, but mostly people say it's God in you. But some of my clients, for example, they don't have a problem with the explanation God, but they're just like, well, yeah, but I don't believe really in God. I don't know how to name it, and then I give them opportunity, to give it a name, whatever they like to call it.
Or you really work out their issues that they have in relation to God, which already is a very good topic for a session. And when they find peace with their topics that they have in religious terms, past lives, whatever, then they understand that God never has punished them. Yeah, people have punished us, okay? Not God. God is God. And people had a complete misunderstanding about what God is all about because they have interpreted God with their own very egos. And when we interpret God with our own very egos, then we go to terrorism. Then we want to tell everyone what to do. We think we are God, or we make other people our God, you see? And this is not allowed. We shouldn't make anyone a God of. We shouldn't. And because in the end of the day, God is God and people are people. Follow God and not people. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I also invite the people that I work with every day to do so either. Too.
Yeah, that's true.
So we don't have to protect ourselves anymore. I think it's a very important statement tonight, because when we are one with our true self, there is no necessity of protection anymore, because this is already the biggest protection you can have. Authenticity and being you yourself.
Yeah, and that's true. It's just the way to get there. I still teach guided meditation and protective meditation, just the blue bubble, and just for people who are not in the position to be that connected to the true self and to shine that bright, or
but then it's our responsibility to go there first and to inspire them to follow that way. You see?
Yeah.
And so our homework every day is to really go there first.
Yeah. Oh, I that's what I'm doing. I hope I'm inspiring the people to follow. So yeah, that's our job.
And on the other hand, Katie, whatever kind of opinion we have today, it can be changed tomorrow. It doesn't matter, because opinion is an opinion. God doesn't care about our opinion. In the end of the day, God is God, and the rules are the same. You see, whatever we think of it, and this is also a massive release, I feel, because the biggest emotional release also has to do with the fact that in the end of the day, we don't have to invent the wheel in new terms, you see, because it's all there. It's all there. We only have to unblock it. We have to bring the light and to decode it, and poof, then it's done. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I see it too. It's just the journey sometimes it's individually taking some people a bit longer, and other people figure it out a bit earlier.
Yes.
So it's I always say it's your pace, it's your life, you are the boss, and you decide. I'm just, I'm maybe 1 or 2 steps further.
Yeah, but I disagree. I disagree. You are not the boss. Or you can't say any, and you can't tell.
No, I'm telling my client,
for example,
you are the boss.
They are the boss.
Life.
They are the boss. For example, I say it this way, okay? When someone comes to me in a session, it's like someone brings a car into the garage for the car to be repaired, okay? And then imagine if the engineer then would say, "Oh, you are the boss. You have to do the car yourself." No, they can't, okay? And they come to us because we are the expert. We know how to do that. You see? So I think it's important to bring them, maybe to teach them how to do this check up themselves on a certain level, but the intensity of what you and I, for example, do, I think it would be too much for someone who does not do this every day. What do you think?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And now I play some ads and then some music, and then we are back. Okay.
Okay.
So good you're here.
This is Chiltern Voice.
And we are singing hallelujah again and again and again and again until we are one with our true self in God. Kathie, hey, how are you now after all this? Nearly 2 hours now, yeah?
Wow, yeah. It's almost 2 hours. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and it's a very intensive show, isn't
I'm
it?
sweating.
Yeah, wonderful. And that's what our listeners like, and they love it, because we both are also challenging each other all the time.
Yeah, and really interesting. And thank you so much. I really enjoy.
Yeah, you're so much welcome. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's time to talk about us as healers, maybe, in regards to our self and true self and ego and victim mode. There are mousetraps. I feel mousetraps myself, you see, in my work. And my mousetraps, for example, are that sometimes I lose, not that often, but I lose myself, and I don't realize that I lost it. Do you know what I mean? It's for example, when I go into, it's so heavy today. It's why do I have to do this again? You see, and this already is a part of entrance to my negative ego.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's so quick.
Yeah, we are not perfect, right? And we are still human beings. And when we are in service, it's much easier when you tune in and you work with your client and your patient and your customer. Let's call them clients, and you work with other people and guide them and help them. You are tuned in and you are in your power. But sometimes when we step out and there's one single moment where you give this ego part, this negative ego space, it's there and it's brutal. And I can relate to that situation. I've been a bit better with this. I realize it a bit faster than years ago, but when I'm out, but I still tune in too much sometimes, so I forget to tune out again and have the same problem basically you are describing, which makes my mood and my feelings or my energy field drained, because I'm not 100% in this sparkle and light and energy, and then it kicks me out of my middle immediately, and then find your way back. Exactly, that's really hard sometimes.
Yeah, but it's getting much quicker the more we do it. You see, and this is these are the good news. This is the good news, and I think it's also good news for our listeners out there who think, oh, I'm not that perfect or whatever. The way Marc and Kathie are talking now, no, you don't have to be, but we all are on our way, and we all are on the way to a different kind of level, and only because you're listening to us here now tonight doesn't mean that we are better or others are not good enough or whatever. No, we have to forget all these judgments, and I think it's so important to really become aware of that, because it doesn't have to do with higher or lower level. No, in the end of the day, everyone has this capacity in themselves. And with this show, my intention is to allow you to evoke this in you yourself.
Yeah, brilliant.
And
I was talking in one of the in my podcast about spiritual leaders or healers. We are ourselves, because we have to heal ourselves basically every single day as well. And just because we are working on this high level frequency doesn't have to be it's for you. Doesn't meant to be for you. Maybe it's the different levels we're working on. You don't have to be a healer to change the world. If you change yourself inside, you're healing the world and you're helping other people. It doesn't matter on what level you're practicing it. You don't have to be a practicing healer to change the world.
And then it's not a power struggle anymore. You see, it's a togetherness, it's a oneness and diversity, and the oneness and diversity I think is so important, because we need all these colors of the rainbow in our life, on our planet. And you are sitting out there on your sofa. You are one of this, and we are one of this, and Kathie, you are one of this. And I want to invite every listener out there to be a part of this miracle, a part of this new awareness, a part of this supernatural power that we all are, and we can change the world, because in what I feel, we are the creator, the co-creator, because we are God in our inner, and we have to be responsible for our creation. So in understanding this with what we said today, Kathie, I think it's obvious now that we are the one who are making our living, we are making our life, we are creating our towns, we are creating our pollution, or also our wonderful true nature, which is clean or whatever. We are responsible for that. And it's good that we gave guidance tonight, Kathie, you and I, to our listeners, to be a part of that and to become aware that you are the one who can do it. And if we can do it, you can do it too.
Exactly. I mean, I'm talking about myself. If I could do all of this, then everyone else out there, and take responsibility of your life, take responsibility of your emotions, of your energy field, get out of your victim role, don't blame, don't complain, stop doing this, get up the spiral in your positive frequency, shine your light needs to shine bright. Now I mix the words and my brain is like, but you get the message. It's
absolutely
that easy.
How can people contact you, Kathie?
So, email. I have a beautiful website, Canedah.com with a CANEDAH.com. And I have a podcast on Podbean, the Tree of Love Tribe. You can follow me on Instagram where you find all my links, and all the links on the website as well. I don't know if you have some show notes or where people can find the link to a website or something, or just drop an email, text a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm happy to call you back. I'm happy to write back. I'm happy to help you out.
Perfect. Wonderful. Kathie, it was so nice to talk to you. Thank you very, very much for today. And I think we all can go to bed now. Or in Australia, they actually are also listening to us now, and they can have a wonderful breakfast. And in the US, it's still afternoon. So here in the UK, we go to bed soon, I think. And we are, I can only say thank you very much for having listened to our show tonight again. Kathie, amazing you were there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm very grateful for this evening. Thank you, Marc.
Wonderful. Yeah, and you can come to the next show, and the listener, next week there on Wednesday, there's another show. And I think it will be a very good one again. But I don't say anything now because it will be a surprise. Okay, so Kathie, good night, yeah?
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Chiltern Voice.